Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning in our session on early years education pathways and all the subjects related to that. We're joined by my colleagues Crystal, Beanish, Lorraine, Eva, Sandra, and Jackie, who will be available to answer questions that you have throughout the session. So use the chat option in the to chat to us. Sorry, use the Q&A option for asking questions. So my colleagues will give you an insight into studying the early years education pathway subjects. Just before I hand over, I just want to do a bit of housekeeping. If I could get everyone to raise their hands to let me and my colleagues know that you can hear us all well. Brilliant, thank you. And just raise your hands again if you can see the screens well. Brilliant, thank you very much. Okay, so just again, our session is going to be recorded, so it's available for you all to kind of refer back to afterwards. So we'll put this on our website. There's lots of sessions running today. We offer lots of different courses that can lead to careers with early years education pathways. So visit our open day website for videos and course informations. And again, if you've got questions that you want to ask, feel free to ask throughout the session on the Q&A button. So without any further delay, I'll hand over to Crystal. Over to you to start our session.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our open day. We're going to look at early years and education pathways this morning. Right, so why study at NUVIC? Right, NUVIC offers a number of qualifications. We have A-levels, T-levels and professionals, Level 3 BTECs and Level 2 BTECs. The A-level courses require a minimum of 5 GCSEs, grades 9 to 5. Most courses also require a minimum grade of 5 in GCSE English and or maths. Some A-level courses such as science and maths are more challenging and require higher grades in specific subjects. But when you make inquiries, the different departments will explain that further to you. We've got an exciting new course coming, which is called the T-levels, which starts in September, and that will be on offer in early years as well. They require a minimum of 5 GCSEs, grades 9 to 4, including English and maths, and most courses require a grade 5 or above in maths. NUVIC Professionals is another course that you can do, which is an advanced course which contains a substantial work experience element to it. And then the Level 3 courses require a minimum of 4 GCSEs, grades 9 to 4. Most courses, again, also require a minimum grade of 4 in GCSE English and maths. Level 2 courses require 2 GCSEs, grades 9 to 4, and also a minimum grade of 3 in GCSE and maths. Right, these are some of the child and early years where they can lead you. So academic studies in education, social work, psychology, and sociology. You can see the various routes that you can go through, A-levels, education and childcare and health qualifications, and health and social care. Right, we're now going to begin our masterclass, and my colleague Beanish will be joining me for this.
Everyone. So today's masterclass is about the role of the teacher and practitioner when promoting children's mental health and well-being. So we're just going to take you through our masterclass now.
Okay, so it's a little topic taster of what you'll experience in the classroom. And one of the topics we teach in this unit looks at transitions and significant events that a child may experience. And we discuss the potential effects of these on a child's life, on their health, development and well-being. Transition can interrupt a child's development with regard to their emotional and mental health and well-being, and can also impact on other areas of their development and learning. The teacher's or practitioner's role here is crucial. Some examples of transition that children may go through is the arrival of a new baby brother or sister to the family, moving house, or going to big school, and another thing that has a significant impact is parents divorcing. Today's taster is going to be about divorce. Okay, we're going to do a little role play here. I'm going to be a teacher and my colleague Beanish is going to be the student on the course. So Beanish, welcome to the class this morning. Morning. I'd like you to begin by doing a spider graph for us to show us how divorce can impact on a young child's mental health and well-being, and the kind of activities in the nursery that teachers can use to help the child through their transition.
So here is my spider diagram with just some information on how divorce can impact children emotionally. So it can have an impact on children's emotional development. They might feel very insecure. They might feel frustrated. They might feel confused. And some children also may regress. That means going back to an earlier stage of development. And they might start bedwetting or have nightmares due to the situation. Also, children will have behavior issues. So they might become a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more controlling, refusing to do things. Children might also be quite clingy and display some tantrums. For example, when visiting their other parent and coming back to the setting, they will also be feeling really, really vulnerable. Another example that I have is feeling sense of loss. So when parents separate, it can also link to children moving from the area that they were living in before. So they might even move to another nursery and they might miss their friends, they might miss family that they used to live close to. So the way the practitioners can support, so the practitioner can encourage parents to bring in an attachment object, such as a favorite toy, just to bring some comfort to the child and provide security. Also opportunities to make choices, so allowing children to maybe choose activities they want to play with. Also, just giving children an opportunity to build their confidence, giving them extra support, giving them extra reassurance, giving them opportunities to draw, to paint, so that they can really release their emotions, and just keeping the routine consistent as well, because transition is a big change in children's life. So routine is really important.
Beanish, if you could show that note closer to this here. Thank you. That's great.
Thank you, Beanish. Some really, really interesting activities there that will support the child. Thank you very much. So we're going to have a little discussion now. So having done that, Beanish, how important do you think the role of the teacher or a qualified practitioner is in supporting young children's mental health and well-being?
So I think the teacher's role is really important because children will need a lot of support during transitions. So I've got some examples again here. So children will need support from the setting, but practitioners will also need to communicate effectively with parents as well, so that they can just support the child and work in support together. Also, building relationships. So the parent and the practitioner need to build a relationship so they can both come together to support the child through the transition.
Thank you. Yeah, it's that communication is very important, and working closely with the parents. I think it's also important that we promote mental health and well-being in our setting, and maybe doing sessions for parents. What do you think?
Yes, I agree. I think that would be really good for the children.
Well, how would you set it up in your nursery if you were doing that?
So if I was doing it with the children, I would encourage parents to be involved. So set up an activity which parents can come in and work with the settings. There could be lots of opportunities where children can maybe learn about mental health and the impact that it has on them and the support that's available from the setting.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, in the past, we've done things in the nursery, like teaching children about healthy choices in what they eat, going for long walks, doing exercise. That's really, really good for supporting mental health. It can't be underestimated enough, the kind of things that really support children to avoid becoming depressed and avoid becoming anxious when they're going through a transition. Thank you very much, Beanish, today. That was really, really good.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Beanish, having done this lesson, name 3 things you've learned today.
So I've learned about the courses that are available for me at NUVIC. I have also learned about the entry requirements. And one of the other things I've learned is how important the practitioner's role is in supporting children through transitions.
Thank you, Beanish.
Right, that takes us to questions. We've got some time. Let me just check the time. Yeah, we've got some time, so we could answer questions that anyone has. So I can see in our Q&A chat there are some questions. So anyone from the team to come forward and answer them. So the first question we have is, do you offer any apprenticeships in the childcare or midwifery sector? Anyone wants to answer that?
Okay, we've got a new qualification in September, which is called the T-level. The T-level is a course that combines knowledge in the classroom, so learning all the theory, and then a substantial work experience placement in a setting where you will be able to put that theory into practice. It's similar to an apprenticeship, but it's much more classroom based, whereas with an apprenticeship, you'd be in the workplace for 4 days. You'd be in the workplace with a T-level for 1 day, and you'll spend the other 4 days in the college, sorry.
Thank you, Crystal. Next question we have for anyone from the team to answer. Does doing childcare cash level 3 fill up your 3 options, or is it counted as 1?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Question is, okay, no problems. Does doing childcare cash level 3 fill up your 3 options, or is it counted as 1? I'm not. I'm thinking they're thinking, would it be part of A level? Because you only do 1 option, 1 subject.
You would only do 1 option. If you were signed up to do A levels, you'd do A levels. If you were signed up to do a T level, it would take up a full-time course to do your T level.
Thank you, Sandra. Next question. The students asking, I've read that T levels might be cancelled due to funding difficulties. Is that true?
No, that's not true. The government's spending a great deal of money on T-levels. We're gearing up to deliver T-levels. They are very much going to go ahead.
Thank you, Crystal. Next question is, this subject special?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Next question is, what makes this subject area special?
Special. Well, it makes it special and individualised to you. If you're very interested in working with children, then this T-level course is very geared for you. You will go to a placement, you will learn all about the development, you will learn and find out about how to help children progress. So it is very relevant. The course is very tailored to that learning.
Thank you, Sandra. Next question I have is, where are students progressing onto after NUVIC?
Students can go on to do university if they want to progress and become a teacher, or to come to do midwifery, work in hospitals. They can also, when they finish their T levels, they will have a license to actually go and work in the early years environment. And also maybe if they are keen to be a teacher's assistant, which could be working with children with special needs on a one-to-one basis in a school, or even working if the school has a position for a teaching assistant to work under the teacher to help with children's learning and development in that area. So there are areas to move on to, either university or to actually get yourself into a working job.
Thank you. Next question we have is, how are T levels different from A levels or a BTEC?
T levels are different to A levels because you'll actually have some work experience. BTEC again does not tend to have much working experience of actually working out in the environment and in the community, whereas the T levels are very based on working out in the environment and the community. So you get a very hands-on approach doing a T level.
Thank you, Sandra. Next question, can you go into early years from studying health and social care?
You can, but not as easily. With health and social care, it is very little practical based, whereas the T level is more because you'll have more hours in a placement to get that experience. And placements do, nurseries and schools are aware of how much experience practical experience you'd have had already.
Thank you, Sandra. For anyone else, okay, would there still be a lot of hand-on work next year with the current circumstances? So I think with the pandemic, how is placements working?
It's a difficult one to answer because, of course, we don't know when we're going to be allowed back into placements, but we've got that covered. If we're not in placements when we begin, Sandra and Eva, who are actually the people who will go out and assess you in the placement, have planned activities for you to bring the workplace alive in the classroom. There's lots and lots of activities available. Also, we are looking at virtual placements as well, where you'll be learning things remotely until you can actually physically go back into placement.
Thank you, Crystal. Another question, what academic support or general support is available to students studying these subjects?
We've got a very knowledgeable and supportive team. I think I can say hand on heart that they are very, very dedicated, and they will fully support you, whether it's academically, whether it's with your literacy, structuring your assignments. They're there for you.
Thank you. Another question from a student, does the placement that they do count toward their final grade, or is it exam based?
It is both. We very much use both. We do use exams and we do use practical placement. There has to be an element from all of that to help you to pass. It isn't just one area.
Okay, brilliant. What facilities are available with this subject for the students? i.e. Specialist rooms that they use? I'm not sure. So,
we're not using specialist rooms, but we have got the facilities to support you throughout the course. We do have resources that we can help you with. And if you're going to practical placements, the resources are there for you to use to help us to see what capabilities you've got, how you're planning, how you're meeting the requirements. So we do have a bank of placements to go to, and we have rooms that will have resources. We'll guide you to use the different technologies that can help you to gain the knowledge for this course.
Question, do universities accept T levels?
Do we accept?
Do universities accept T levels?
Oh,
Absolutely, yeah.
yes, universities are very aware of the T level. They're very aware of how much practical and knowledge, how it's all come together. So they are looking for that now, yes.
Thank you. Another question, what are common things that students overlook and should be aware of when doing studying these subjects?
I think students might overlook the amount of research they need to be doing, and also the engagement that they need to be able to learn. As long as you're willing, you're able, you're attending, you will have the most support and advice you can to gain this qualification. It's about coming with an eager mind, ready to learn.
Thank you, Sandra. I'm just going to see if there's any more questions. No, I think that is all with the questions. So thank you. Just before we end, so I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us, and to my colleagues for answering all the questions and explaining the kind of the pathways in a bit more detail. One last question just come through. Will there be exams for us? I'm just going to throw that in there.
It's not an exam as such. It's what we call a controlled assessment. So over a week, you'll be doing 4-hour sessions with breaks, of course. But during those 4-hour sessions, you will be supervised to complete a 5,000-word essay based on what you've learned over the year.
Thank you, Crystal. So again, thank you to the guys in the team for giving everyone in this session insight into the early years and education pathways. If applications are now open online for September 2021, please visit the website as you can see on the screen to complete an application form. You receive confirmation that we received your application, and if your application is successful, the next step will be obviously to an invitation to attend an interview, which will probably be virtually until we're back on site fully. As I mentioned earlier at the start of this session, there are lots of sessions on today. If you've missed anything on the session, you can, as I said, this session is recorded, so will be available on our website sometime next week, so you can go back there. Also visit it if you want to look up other subject areas to get more information on the courses. You can go to that website again to kind of watch again if you want to double check things, explore, or look at other options